the thing that is most important, the 11th commandment that everyone, one in which we are fighting all the time, is to figure out how it is we can use public power in order to control the terrible instincts that some people have some of the time, and to put into their place a series of collective instincts that are strong enough to protect creativity without stifling it. And I think the reason why Reason has been so successful is that it understands the nature of these trade-offs, tries to write and to publish articles and to do things which addresses them in a responsible way, and in so doing, in a small but powerful way, helps advance the cause of individual liberty within a stable and ordered society. Red light went off. I think, I'm glad I didn't have to speak before the main course, because nobody wants to be the speaker who stands between you and a steak dinner. But since I was only standing between you and a delicious dessert, I think that it was acceptable. Thank you so much for paying attention. And he's right, we care about nuts and bolts policy issues, like trash policy. The volume is too low. That's better. All right. Trash policy is one of the many interests of the Reason Public Policy Institute. And Reason has worked with communities around the country to help clean up the trash. We've advocated pay-as-you-throw trash collection, privatization and market-based recycling. Folks like Joe Sloan here have helped us with that. And Lynn Scarlett was really the guru of that effort, and for her efforts in improving environmental policy around the country, she was appointed Assistant Secretary of the Department of Interior. So she's now in Washington, D.C., making change happen from the inside. But beyond the environment, we study policy issues from energy to transportation to privatization to education. Bob Poole is, of course, the guru of transportation policy, and this year we got a real boost in our sales when Joe Jacobs made a $2 million long-term commitment to help us make a difference in transportation policy. I would now like to acknowledge my colleague Adrian Moore, who is Executive Director of the Reason Public Policy Institute. Adrian has met with tremendous success in privatization, in changing government. He helped craft President Bush's management agenda, which paved the way for the announcement last fall that the president wanted to privatize 850,000 jobs, or half the federal bureaucracy, opening them to competition. For our efforts, the Wall Street Journal commented, of all the nation's free market or conservative policy groups, it may be the Reason Foundation in Southern California that ends up having the most direct impact on the actual functioning of government. And it's because of the practical approach of Bob Poole and Adrian Moore and those that come. And it is about being practical, and Reason is gaining momentum at home here in California, thanks to our $35 billion budget deficit. Reason's George Passantino has showed how we can preserve the quality of life in California without raising taxes and still balancing the budget. This summer, Sacramento policymakers used our recommendations and passed a budget with no tax increases.
And yes, they have deferred part of the problem, and we have a new governor who we hope will be tackling it. But California needs systemic, fundamental reform. And so we started a crusade. And the first person to sign on to Reason's crusade for fundamental reform was Kathleen Connell, the former controller of California. Other prominent officials here tonight joined into that effort. And thanks to their strong support and the winds of political change, there is significant momentum right now to restructure governance in California. I would like to recognize the public officials we have with us here tonight. Again, as I call your names, I would ask you to stand, and when you're all standing, we'd like to recognize you with a round of applause. Former California Secretary of State Bill Jones, former California State Treasurer Matt Fraud, California State Senator Chuck Pachigian, California State Assemblyman Ray Haynes, former Member of Congress Bill Baker, U.S. Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals Judge Alex Kaczynski, Orange County Superior Court Judge James Gray, Los Angeles County Supervisor Mike Antonovich, Fresno City Councilman Jerry Duncan, and Schwarzenegger Transition Team member Sally Pipes. Ladies and gentlemen, thanks to these people for putting principle into practice. It is now my pleasure to introduce Kathleen Connell, the former Controller of California. Kathleen is a dynamo and a ball of fire, a woman of tremendous energy and great passion and convictions. She was just invited by Governor-elect Schwarzenegger to be on the 3-person budget panel to help fix the humongous problem that we have. Kathleen is an investment banker and president of the Connell Group. She has a PhD in finance and serves on the faculty of the UC Berkeley Haas School of Management. Please join me in welcoming a great hero for freedom, Kathleen Connell.
Well, this is my first Reason Foundation dinner, and